social and political commentary from a Christian male perspective.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back. This is day 19 of the great Pookie escape, and we got some updates. Now, last night and earlier today, we went over that video of the young man who was one of the escapees, one of the two remaining escapees, and did an Instagram post. And we talked about it last night. I posted the full video on my channel today so you can kind of look at it without my commentary. And it is as bad as we thought it would be, because last night we were hypothesizing that him doing that video was going to stir up people, and he was going to, where he was doing that video was going to become problematic because somebody was going to pin it down. And just like that, I was right. They raided the home where he did that video today. And we're going to watch that video as well. We have a couple other updates as well, but no update that they've caught these people, which is amazing to me. I do need to get I don't have the update on how many accomplices, but the current moment is like 16 accomplices. I'm 4 away from 20. I told y'all they're going to get about 20 of them. I might need to revisit that number and make it 25. But because there's more than 25 people, right? So we got to get the update on the accomplices. We got to get an update on what happened in Ohio. We got to get an update on what happened in Arkansas with the former police chief that was serving 80 years and escaped. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. But before we get too far afield, we want to say what's going on to Jared. What's going on? It's going to be a good show tonight. Don't miss out, y'all. I agree with you, brother. Thank you so much for that. As always appreciate you stopping through. Emily, thank you so much. Good evening. And good evening to you. Got that old Miss Independent coming through. And I believe you are a corrections officer. Shout out to you. Grace and peace to you for sure for what you do. Keeping us all safe and keeping the people where they need to be. Right? They ain't sneaking behind toilets and climbing over fences, right? Keep them in there. So last night, we said it. We said it was going to happen. We said it. And I'm not the prophet. I'm not a prophet, nor the son of a prophet. But we said that that young man doing that video was going to be problematic. I might need to run the tape back. I need to run the video back from last night, because we said it. And as sure as my name is Jason, hey, guess what? We're right. I just can't believe. I almost can't believe that it was that simple. I didn't know it was going to be in less than 24 hours. I had no idea. So let me pull the video clip in. Let's just talk about it real quick. Home raided where fugitive Antoine Massey made social media videos. Not even 24 hours. Not even a full 24. This is craziness. We knew it. I just want to know hopefully they'll tell us how they figured it out. Oh, this is a long video too. Hopefully they'll tell us how they figured it out, because that's what I want to know. Do you want to know that too, Emily? I know you do. Miss Independent, I know you do. This is just going to be so crazy. I almost don't want to hit play because I'm anticipating it. I feel like Christmas morning, because we literally said this. And wait, this was at 10:03 in the morning. That was like 5 hours after the video last night. No, wait. 12 hours. I'm sorry. Bad math. New math. But still, that wasn't even 24 hours. Get out of here. Okay, we got to go. Let's do it, people. Thank y'all so much for jumping in. You know what we like to do. Do those green hearts in the chat when you can hear. Let's go.
On the run, posting videos on social media, and now you have officials in our parish and surrounding parishes telling him to turn himself in.
I'm one of the ones that was let out on News Parish jail where they said I escaped, right?
17 days after 10 men escaped from the Orleans Justice Center jail, Antoine Massey, one of 2 men still on the run, pleads his case in different versions of 10-minute-long social media videos.
I'm showing y'all, the whole world, how corrupted the state of Louisiana is. I'm an innocent man. Yes, in my past, I made mistakes. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say mistakes. I was just young. You know what I'm saying? But the system has failed a lot of people, and not just me.
Meanwhile, his pastor, Robert Brown, calls on him to return to custody.
Turn yourself in. If you care about your family, turn yourself in.
Deputy U.S. Marshal Brian Fair says authorities are now thoroughly investigating the videos in hopes of locating Massey. Metropolitan Crime Commission CEO Rafael Goyeneche says the videos could provide clues to help law enforcement locate Massey.
Those videos and the social media sites that he posted those on, are going to contain metadata that will enable law enforcement to determine who posted them, on what platform, using what devices.
In the videos, Massey specifically calls on President Donald Trump, Kim Kardashian, and multiple rappers for help as he maintains his innocence. He also claims the domestic abuse battery case he was booked with at the time of his escape was filed by a jealous girlfriend. During the videos, he shows an affidavit his alleged victim filed with St. Tammany authorities. Goyeneche says the paperwork could be proof that the woman, who has been arrested in connection with helping Massey evade law enforcement, has assisted him. Massey also calls Louisiana's legal system corrupt, specifically calling out local authorities in the videos.
Jason Williams, Susan Hudson, the sheriff, St. Tammany, these people are racist. These people are biased. These people just doing whatever they want to do, and I'm asking for help, please, before they throw me away for something that I did not do.
District Attorney Jason Williams declined an interview Monday. St. Tammany District Attorney Colin Sims said only that he hopes Massey turns himself in. Sheriff Susan Hudson issued this statement. If the individual depicted in the video is indeed Antoine Massey, we strongly urge him to come forward and turn himself in to the proper authorities.
Is there a reason why they don't think that that was Antoine Massey? Because they keep saying the individual who appears to be, as if it wasn't him. Now, of course, sure. But really? Like, why would it not be him? Like, why would it not be him? And they said that a lot last night, too. And that makes no sense to me. Why would you say that that's not him? And now, yeah, I have no idea why they're doing that. Because it seemed like why would it be somebody else pretending to be him? Like, that makes no sense. Like, why not pretend to be Denzel Washington or Forrest Whitaker? Why in the world do you pretend to be a three-time loser? Why? That makes no sense. Okay, I'm sorry. I just had to say that. Because they keep saying
law enforcement is in his best interest and may help avoid additional charges. It is important that justice is served appropriately and that due process is followed. Massey also specifically calls out Sterling Williams, a maintenance worker accused of turning off the water in the cell from which Massey and 9 others escaped May 16th.
Like, they try to paint a picture of me as this big old bad guy. Oh, I threatened Sterling, the maintenance man. How did I threaten you, bro? You can't even come around me without a deputy being on the tip.
Williams' attorney, Michael Kennedy, responds.
For him to get up there on social media and call Sterling a liar when I have already been out there saying, this is not what we are saying happened. I presume he is just going straight from the arrest affidavit.
Brown says he's hoping Massey will call him and that he can help him surrender safely. If not for him, for the peace of mind of his family.
If you care about them, won't you turn yourself in?
And authorities urge anyone with information about the whereabouts of Massey or Derek Groves, the other escapee still on the run, to call Crime Stoppers at 504-822-1111. The reward for any tip that leads to their arrest is up to $50,000 per fugitive.
Afternoon, I'm Lauren McCoy.
Oh, hold on. That's the next one. No, the other dude said, hey, look, you go and be a social media star. You go ahead and get your silver play button. I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to lay low. This is so crazy. This story has got to be the most utterly ridiculous story in the history of other utterly ridiculous stories. I'm sorry. You can't escape, then try to prove your innocence. Come on, Apex. That's like breaking into the country, then seeking. Oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. I see exactly. You think they aren't? You think they're covering their backsides? But okay, does the person, they got face, the fact that New Orleans has the most intricate, most advanced facial recognition technology of any big city, why are you wasting your time doing that? because I could pretend, I can draw my face like a kindergartner and say I'm Antoine Massey. Y'all would quickly be able to discern that I'm not. So unless the person is like really a phenomenal, again, presenting himself pretty phenomenally, why are you even pretending like it's not him? Like it, I don't get it. To me, I don't understand. Don't make sense out of nonsense. No, nearly everyone locked up says that they're not guilty. I mean, for real. I don't know, and I don't know anybody in prison. Let me stop lying. But again, most of them probably do say that, and you would know Miss Independent way more than me. You would know way more than me. But shout out to his pastor or the pastor involved, because hey, at least somebody's trying to help him out and do the right thing. And it don't look like he's trying to, like he's a pulpit pimp trying to, make a name for himself. So, shout out to him. Prayerfully, that will be he'll be the one that will help bring this young man in, and he doesn't try to adjudicate this out on the street, because that's what I fear is going to happen. If he's out long enough, he's going to try to adjudicate this on the street when they find him, and which they will eventually find him, and they will eventually, they will have their weaponry. And I hate that he may very well be the exact same. Just say we're going to do this right here in the street, which is terrible. But let's see the rest of this. This is the other side of Fox 8. Let's go.
And I'm Meg Gatto. A social media video showing what appears to be one of the Orleans jail escapees prompts a search of a home in New Orleans.
Todd Trung joins us with details on the search, which is now in its third week.
Well, Lauren, that social media video spread quickly after it was posted on Sunday, and a source tells Fox 8 that state police searched a home on Agriculture Street in the 7th Ward because of it. The source says officers got tips from relatives who recognized the backdrop in the social media video. According to the Associated Press, when investigators searched the home, they did not find
All right. Last night when we said this, we said that the background was going to be the problem. If you were one of those people last night that said the background was going to be the problem, please unequivocally type, type your own name in the chat, because you get a pat on the back, because you said it just like I said it. That background was going to be the problem. I knew it. Now, I didn't think that people were going to be calling in on them, but all of us said this last night. So y'all just type your own doggone name, pat your own self on the back, because we said this. I told you somebody was going to recognize. I knew it. This was a bad move. Now, I thought he was like the mastermind of the whole thing. He might have been the mastermind to get you out of jail, but he might very well be the mastermind to get himself back in there on a fast track. Piggy dude, type your name. Why are you like this? Why? Just type your own name, Piggy dude. It's that easy. It really is that easy. But no, thank you, Emily. Help Piggy do out. We said this. We said this was going to happen. Like that background, we're looking at the picture, saying that the sign and the way the house was made up. And look where we are. He done got somebody, whoever rented that apartment, they going to be an accomplice. They going to end up getting kicked out of there. Why? Because they let this dude come up in here and do this foolishness. And you gave them tacitly more electronic data, more fingerprint data, all that kind of financial data. They're going to pull finances, all that stuff, all of that, just because you had to get over here and declare your innocence after you broke out of jail, which is crazy work.
According to the Associated Press, when investigators searched the home, they did not find Antoine Massey, but did find clothing they believed he was wearing in the video. Massey and convicted killer Derek Groves are the two remaining escapees who broke out of the Orleans Parish Jail on May 16th. 8 other inmates have been recaptured. Today, Governor Jeff Landry repeated the message authorities have been sending to the fugitives.
What I would urge is that those two quit the hide and seek game that we're playing, turn yourself in, and you'll be able to have your day in court.
Typically what happens is as time goes on, those resources dwindle and dwindle, and they're either forced to do something drastic, like further criminal action, a carjacking to get transportation, rob a store to get money.
And that was security consultant and former Secret Service agent Donald Lane. He says the social media video of Massey is bold, but also desperate. Lane believes it shows Massey running out of options and trying to win over public opinion. The reward in this manhunt for Antoine Massey and Derek Groves is now up to $50,000 per fugitive. Reporting live, Ton Trung, Fox 8, Local First.
Accused accomplice, I should say,
Oh.
to one of the escaped inmates is now out.
They just started them all together. So we saw this yesterday, and that was the grandma, I think it was, or the aunt. No, it was the grandmother that has been arrested, but was arrested as an accomplice, and now she was let out on bond yesterday. Yeah, this has gone well into extra innings. This has gone way out of pocket. This is craziness, y'all. The fact. We got former correction officers watching this saying, what in the world am I seeing? So last week, I think it was, or the week prior, this thing's been going on for almost 3 weeks, right? We were introduced to correctional officers in the news as a podcast, excellent content creator. Seems like a solid brother that is doing some great reviews of this. And I'll drop his link in the chat, by the way. Let me do that real quick for y'all. And we're going to watch him do his review and reaction of this video by Antoine Massey. I thought it was super informative. Again, just another perspective that we can glean something from. So I'm gonna bring him in. Bang. Let's get this brother in. Let's talk about it. Let's go. Shout out to correctional officer in the news. The link is in the chat if you want to check out what he's doing over there. Good guy. Let's go.
This has to be one of the most bizarre things that I've seen in a while on social media. Antoine Massey, one of the guys who escaped from the jail in New Orleans, made a video. He's out on the run, and he's making a video saying that he's innocent. So I'm going to play it, and I'm going to react to it, but it's bizarre.
Massey, I'm one of the ones that was let out of GC. What I want to talk about today is as far as why I was in Orleans Parish Jail. I was in custody for almost 8 months. All right, 6 months, something like that.
He said he was let out. Not that he broke out, not that he escaped, but he was let out.
I was in there for theft of a motor vehicle and domestic abuse involving strangulation. That's what I was in Orleans Parish for. Okay, but before I was in Orleans Parish, I was in a jail called St. Tammany Detention Center. All right, St. Tammany Jail here and St. Tammany Parish. There's 2 different parishes, Orleans and St. Tammany. Okay. Today, what I want to talk about is that I was on 2nd-degree kidnapping, 2nd-degree domestic abuse, battery involving strangulation, domestic abuse, battery, violation of protective order. Right.
This is so bizarre. This guy is being hunted by the federal government, the local government, the state police. Everybody's trying to find this guy, and he makes a video.
On this woman right here, her name is Diamond White. That's her name. This is a district attorney drop form right here. And she's not a child. She's an adult, a full adult. I was dating this woman. This is a legalized affidavit saying all allegations against me is false.
Well, I can't read it. You know, I wish he would have held it up closer so I can pause it and read it, but I can't see it. But he says that the lady is saying that the allegations are false.
All allegations against me is false. I was nowhere around her or none of that during the timing of the date, which was November the 10th of 2024. Okay, so I was in St. Tammany, right? And I was on a regular domestic charge, right? So they put a parole hold on me because I was on a domestic charge. So that being said is that...
Well, he must have been on parole for something else, so
right.
They put a hold on him because he violated his parole, I guess. So they kept him.
Once that occurred, and the charges was refused or whatever, they shipped me to Orleans Parish where I had more open charges, was the theft of a motor vehicle and the domestic abuse, battery, involving strangulation. So once I got in Orleans Parish Jail, All right. I have from the district attorney's office, this woman who they say that I initially in another parish and in all these parishes, the same woman here. It's not different females, it's the same grown woman, not a child, a grown woman. Okay, she did the same thing in all these parish, right? Correct. I'm about to show you how the system is corrupted. Okay, she did this, right? Saying all allegations against me is false. And she even saying it, you know, she let them know the truth, that I never did this to her, I never hit her, I was nowhere around her, nothing. She got mad and thought that I was dealing with another woman. That's why she did what she did to me.
So he's saying that he's falsely accused, that the lady he was dating just accused him of all of these domestic violence charges, and he was picked up, but she came later on and just said that everything she said was false and signed the affidavit to the effect that she lied. And he was still in prison. I mean, he's still in jail, so I guess he felt like he had to leave. Let's see what he says.
I'm saying, another thing too, once I got into Orleans Parish, I was there for like, a month or something like that. Okay, a lot went on as that time progressed. Okay, if you was an innocent person, and you know the judges and DA know that this person is saying that all the charges that you're on, that you did not do, why was you still in jail? Louisiana have the highest incarceration rate in the world for putting black people away. Yes, at the end of the day, in my younger life, I'm not gonna lie, I was causing problems. I was young. My daddy got killed when I was 7 years old.
Now I've heard this story about his father being murdered when he was a child. As it relates to what he's saying about would I stay in jail if or would you stay in jail, or would we stay in jail if we didn't do the crime? I guess we would. I mean, me personally, I don't think I would escape to make my case. And he said he was only locked up in the jail that he escaped from for a month. So I think that he should have stayed and tried to work it out legally where he could get released. This right here is not helping his situation.
My mom had to raise 4 children by herself, so I had to find a way to try to help my mother. You feel what I'm saying? But as time went on, the person that I once was, I'm not that person today. That is not who I am.
Now, I give him a lot of credit for what he's saying, that he's not the person that he was back then. And, you know, he grew up under rough conditions, but it still is bad for him that he escaped or left, like he said, let out.
That's crazy.
I have an 18-year-old daughter that graduated yesterday, supposed to be. At the end of the day, that people don't understand that they see that I'm armed and dangerous. I have a heart. People that know me know that at the end of the day, I am a good person. So I'm asking for help from the world, from Meek Mills, Lil Wayne, Young Boy, Donald Trump. I'm asking for these people. I couldn't even get a lawyer. I couldn't even afford a lawyer to prove my innocence while I was in Orleans Parish jail.
Now, our system is supposed to give a person that can't afford an attorney. I know some of these states and some of these cities, their budget is so inadequate that a lot of inmates don't get a trial right away. They have to wait, and they can't really get an attorney. I know they have a problem like that here in Atlanta, where people have been waiting to be represented. But he said that he was in this jail for a month, which is not a long time. He was in the other place that he said that he got sent to for 6 months, and now he's at this prison or this jail for a month. I don't think that he should have left.
No, definitely shouldn't have left.
If he's telling the truth.
They say that I broke out. I didn't break out. I was let out. My name is Antoine Massey. The guy who said that I threatened him with a shank, the maintenance guy, how could I threaten you with a shank? You can't come around me. You're a maintenance. You cannot come on the tills without a deputy being behind you. Because if they just let you on the till, you could be persuaded to bring drugs or anything like that nature.
Now, what he's saying, from my experience, he's telling the truth about that. I mean, if the jail runs properly, if the jail is working with some sort of standard operations, but I don't think this jail works under standard operations. I think they just do things that are not the norm. But in a normal jail, a maintenance person would not be able to come into a cell block without them being escorted by an officer, and in this case, a deputy, to escort them. And not for the reasons that he's saying that they can be influenced to bring contraband into the facility, but just for safety reasons. You're bringing tools up there, you're bringing wrenches and screwdrivers and things like that, maybe even a saw or something, sharp edges. You can't have a person that's doing repairs on a toilet going up there unaccompanied and working amongst inmates without an officer being present. I mean, that should be the standard practice.
It sounds like it is.
So how can I threaten you to jail you, and why you didn't notify the people, the police, that if I did threaten you, you never did that? Like, you flat out lied on me. Sterling flat out lied on me. And I want to let the media know that from the straight tattoos in my face and things of that nature, of course they're going to believe Sterling. You know what I'm saying? I never told Sterling nothing. I'm willing to take a lie detector test and everything behind that, but that's another subject.
Yeah, that is another subject, but he said that he was let out, but he never says who let him out. Did Sterling let him out? Did someone else let him out? That's the big question.
Orleans Parish is one of the corruptedest jails. That in St. Tammany Parish is the corruptedest jails in the state of Louisiana. Why was I even incarcerated with a woman saying that this never happened? This is this woman's name. This is the charge, domestic abuse discrimination. This is about the shit in St. Tammany. Why would I, in Orleans Parish, why was I even in jail? That's what I'm trying to show y'all. That's why I left the jail. And they have a lot more brothers that's innocent, just like me, that's trying to prove they're innocent. That's why they ran. Jason Williams, the sheriff, Susan Hudson, these people are corrupted. These people was talking to St. Tammany and telling St. Tammany they gonna sentence me behind this, and telling St. Tammany if they can't give me, St. Tammany gonna get me. You see what I'm saying? Behind a woman that's a grown adult that never stated that I ever. They have a detective that's over the case.
Now, I've met inmates who felt that they were innocent. Most inmates that haven't been convicted will tell you that they're innocent. I've listened to a lot of stories, and throughout my whole career, maybe I can count on one hand the inmates that I really felt were innocent. Everybody feels they're innocent until they're proven guilty, I guess. And even then, they may still feel like they're innocent. This is no excuse for leaving, or being let out and leaving knowing that you're not leaving through the front door, you're leaving through a hole in the wall. You should know better than that. You're going to do time for that unless some strange revelation happens where they can prove everything that you're saying, that the system is corrupt and you're being railroaded and things like that. It's not going to end well for him.
That's trying to pursue charges on me because of my prior history. Who I was in the past is not who I am today. So I'm asking for the media. I don't even have a lawyer to help me. I'm asking for help. That's why I ran. You feel me? I'm a grown man. I have kids. I have a mother. I have a baby mother, a child, my children mother. Like it's a lot going on. And that's why I ran. I need help.
Well, a lot of times, I think he said that he was on parole or something. An inmate that's on parole, if they get locked up, their parole gets violated. So even though he may be innocent of the charges, maybe he still has to go in front of his parole officer or have a hearing, a parole hearing, to determine whether or not he is eligible to be released based on his status as being on parole. I'm not sure, but it sounds like I think he believes what he's saying. I don't think he's like trying to pull the wool over our eyes. I think he actually believes what he's saying.
You feel what I'm saying? Orleans Parish and St. Tammany is one of the corruptest parishes in the world. And I'm asking for help. There's a lot of corruption, chickens, all type of stuff going on, and they covering it up. They don't care about nothing in the state of Louisiana. This is something that needs to go under a federal investigation. What's going on? How they handling cases? Why Antoine Massey was in jail if the woman, the victim, the grown woman, not a child, the grown woman stated that he never raped her, he never beat her, he was nowhere in her presence. This is the affidavits on the thing.
I don't know why it matters that it's a grown woman and not a child. As if any kind of assault or physical violence or harm toward a child is lesser than against a woman. Like, I don't know why he keeps saying a grown woman as if that mattered any. It's a crime, my guy. Now, I think one would be far more egregious, but that don't make it any less a crime. I don't know. He keeps, that was just such a weird flex. And I'm sorry, being let out, if you say that you're let out, and you're not where you're supposed to be, you do realize that you're breaking the law. That is called escape. If you're supposed to be in confinement, if you're supposed to be in cell block A, cell 123, and you're not there, then you've escaped. It's really that easy. I mean, it sounds kind of petty, but it's real. All right, let's get done.
Right here. This is the drop form from the district attorney office. This woman when did this. I didn't do this. Look, it's legally dated. So I'm asking, please, for help. Young boy, Meat Mills, people, LBL, you know what I'm saying? People that been through the system that know it's corrupt. Lil Wayne, Donald Trump, please, I'm asking for help.
Not Trump.
Wow. I mean,
he said, I need the Don.
I understand who he's appealing to and why. I mean, Lil Wayne is from Louisiana, and NBA YoungBoy, he just got released. He got pardoned by Trump. So he's seeking that type of relief, and I think he went about it the wrong way.
Facts.
I don't think that he's gonna, get any satisfaction by escaping. But let's hear what he has to say.
You know what I'm saying? When I get back in custody, I'm asking y'all please to come and help. You feel what I'm saying? I'm asking the world. I'm letting y'all know I'm not a raper, man. I'm not none of that. None of that. I'm a good person. I am a father that want to be in my children's life. You know what I'm saying? I want to let the younger youth know that.
I'm sorry. Just because you're a dad doesn't mean you're a good person. And just because you're not a dad doesn't mean you're a bad person. Being a father is not the quintessential means that you're a great person or that you do everything right. You dot every I, cross every T. If you're a dad, you know that you probably don't dot every I and cross every T. And he wants to share with the youth what? Sir, you broke out of jail. Sir, and this is not your first time breaking out of jail. You've broken out of jail multiple times. You're not the paragon of virtue, sir. You're not. I know you might think you got it going on, but let me just say this out loud. You're not. This is not it. This is not the flex you think it is.
Going down the route of trying to be a street person is not the route. That's what type of person I am. Yes, I was lied on. They made Sterling lie on me. All the guys they picked me for him to lie on. I'm not saying Sterling a bad guy, but why did you pick me to lie on, bro?
So I guess he knows this maintenance guy. I guess the maintenance guy that they arrested and said that he is the one who cut the water off. I think that he's talking about him, and he seems to know him personally. He knows he's not a bad guy, and he knows him by his first name. So I don't know whether he knows him from being in jail or just knows him from the street, but he seems to know the guy.
It's bigger than Sterling. I don't know why they picked me for him to lie on, but I never threatened Sterling ever. How could I threaten Sterling or hurt Sterling? He cannot come on a tip with me without a deputy being present.
I mean, I understand his concern about that, but that's the least of his problems.
The facts,
Worried about what
absolutely.
Sterling said about him, and maybe charging him with threatening staff with a shank or whatever. That's the least of his problems.
The
He's
least.
out on the run, and he's going to have to answer to that. Forget about Sterling, brother. Worry about how you're going to get out of this mess that you're in, being an escapee.
Right.
My name is Antoine Massey. I'm asking for help. I was one of the ones that was let out Orleans Parish Jail on May the 16th or May the 15th, 2025. So please, Meek Mills, Donald Trump, Lil Wayne, please help me. Lil Wayne, this is Big Antoine's son that's talking right now. I'm Lil Antoine. I was in your mama wedding when she married Rabbit. I was the ring boy, Lil Wayne. Please help me, bro.
All right, that's it. Now that's like one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. A guy that's out on the run,
facts,
making a video about it. Talking about his case, and he's wanted. Wow. The thing. He's going to be caught probably soon. They're probably going to trace where this video came from and go get him. If he can't afford a lawyer, what he should have done, he should have called somebody and said, hey, I want you to turn me in, get the $50,000, and help me get out of jail. Get me a lawyer and try to help me work this thing out. But now he's already past the point where he can even get that type of relief. He has to deal with the fact that he's escaped, and that's a felony in and of itself. If he's already on parole, he ain't going home no time soon. I mean, you're gonna get years for escape. So, like I said, this is the most bizarre video I've seen on social media in a long time. So I just wanted to play it for you so you can see it for yourself. And thanks for coming by and checking me out. Until next time, as always, peace and stay safe.
Appreciate you, man. Bless his heart, but he looks exhausted. Like, I can't believe this. Like, what am I seeing? Shout out. That is the correctional officer in the news, correctional officers in news. I just heard him say that he's in Atlanta. Shout out to that. Maybe we should catch up with him. We need to make that happen. All right. I'm going to drop his link in the chat one more time if you want to support the brother and let him know that you appreciate him. Let him know DWC said, come on over here and holler, man. We can do a little collab. We can work together. That is the craziest story ever. I mean, I watched it again when I posted the video earlier today, and there's problems in there that, and you hear a lot of people say this, like convicts are very convincing and manipulative. And I think he's manipulating this argument and manipulating the story to try to position himself to be a hero, to garner public opinion in support of him, because they say, oh man, this guy is out there, he's pleading for his life, he's wanting a pardon, he's saying that he's innocent, and pulling on those heartstrings. But really truly, you realize that he did list off quite a few pretty gnarly charges, right? He didn't deny that he had done those. He was just certain that he said he didn't do. But the ones he committed to, they were pretty bad too. So again, it's just that level of manipulation and pulling on heartstrings. And again, I'm not a street dude, so I don't know. I really don't. I don't know how that works. And he would have got me, shanghaied me into believing that he was innocent, just like today is Tuesday. But thankfully, we got the Holy Spirit, and we got Joe over here from Past Jail Podcast to help us out, to make sure that we don't get suckered into this, snookered into this, and believing something that's false. So we're gonna check out Joe over here. He's, of course, we look at him pretty much every night. He has a great podcast over there, and he talks about this because last night, I guess he had not seen the video by Antoine Massey, so now he's seen it, and he's gonna be doing a reaction to it. So what did you say, real quick here? I wish we were more. I wish there were more Miss Independents working at the Orleans Parish Jail. Look, they need a lot of people working at the Orleans Parish Jail. Shout out to it. They always have an altered reality of how things came to be. Yeah, I mean, I could imagine that revisionist history is strong in jail, because you just have, all you got to do is think about the night you got arrested, the night, the day in court, when the jury came back or whatever. I'm pretty sure that they've created and crafted entire narratives of them being innocent. I was at home sleeping in my bed when they arrested me down at the mall at the shootout. I was over at grandma's house when they arrested me at the street race downtown. I mean, they've created this entire new persona and, dare I say, a fractured reality. So I agree with you 100%. What does she say right here? No one goes through the trouble for protective order if they don't need it. Well, there you go. Yeah, I'm not filing a protective order against my kid. Why? Because my kid ain't threatening me and I don't need to. So I agree with you. Like it does seem like a hassle. So you have to be committed to the hassle, if you will, right? Is that fair? Shout out to Miss Independent. I appreciate you. Let's go see what Joe is talking about over here. If y'all don't mind, can y'all drop a green heart in the chat when y'all can hear? Let's go.
To the fugitive manhunt involving a New Orleans jail escape where 19 days ago, 10 prisoners would escape from that jail. And at this point, there are still 2 remaining fugitives at large, Derek Groves and Antoine Massey. By now, most of you have probably seen that just yesterday, Antoine Massey would take to Instagram in a 10-minute video proclaiming not only his innocence, but also that he didn't escape from the jail. He was let out. He also talks about Sterling Williams, a potential ex-girlfriend of his by the name of Diamond White, and also makes a plea to the likes of Lil Wayne, Meek Mills, and even President Donald Trump, asking for help in this situation. We're about to check this video out, hear what Antoine Massey has to say, and you decide for yourself what to take from what this guy just shared yesterday with the entire world. Let's take a look at some context clues right here.
Okay, I hate to show it again because we watched it yesterday. We just watched it a few moments ago, and I apologize, but I like hearing the commentary from the correctional officer. I like hearing the commentary from somebody who's a former resident of the Gray Bar Hotel. So please forgive me if we've watched this several times. I just want to see what Joe picks up and if maybe we picked up some things that Joe also is acknowledging or notices during this. So I apologize that we're watching it again.
Again, today marks 19 days since this escape took place. Let's look at the layout of this video. Antoine Massey is wearing a nice tracksuit. He's got a decent pair of shoes on, though you can't see it from this angle, but you will. And he looks to be in some sort of a residence, somebody's home. Doesn't look like an abandoned one either, given that kitchen decor in the background. It's safe to say this guy has some help. Somebody is harboring him. And if and when this person gets found out about, they are definitely going to be arrested. But where would this guy have these type of resources at? He seems to be a New Orleans guy, something that I was able to take from this video, as one of the pleas that he makes is to Lil Wayne, saying that one of his relatives knew Lil Wayne personally. Given that it is 19 days separated from this escape, given the extensive...
I just want to say real quick, I just got to jump in real quick. Look, I don't know if the DWC Nation, I don't know if we need to open up like a DWC detective arm or branch of the DWC Nation, but I think we should. Did we not say most of those things last night? Or maybe Joe's listening. Maybe Joe is in the chat. Maybe Joe, maybe he's watching us watch him, commenting on him so he can comment tomorrow. I don't know. I think we, at this point, we're breaking news up in here, man. We're breaking news up in this piece. Y'all type Joe in the chat. I think Joe is in the chat. Joe is up in the chat. I think he's in here. That's exactly what we said. We said the tracksuit, the boots, the decor, that somebody, whoever got this apartment, they gonna catch hands. They gonna catch it. We said that last night. Joe, tell the truth, Joe. Are you a part of the DWC Nation, Joe? Are you part of the gang? I think he is.
Dragnet that every authoritative agency has put on the city of New Orleans and also the state of Louisiana. I can only imagine how crazy would it be to think this guy is still somewhere relatively close. I personally don't believe that he is, but when you look at the layout in which this video has been filmed, you gotta wonder, is he all that far away? And would he have resources states away, extended family? Can't be none of them. The authorities would have already been down on them.
I'm one of the ones that was let out with GC. What I want to talk about today as far as why I was in Orleans Parish Jail.
Shout out to Willie Doc.
I was in custody for almost 8 months. All right, 6 months, something like that. I was in.
He says that he was in custody for 6 to 8 months. It's interesting that he doesn't really know exactly how long he was locked up for, but he also mentions that he was let out. I wonder what he means by that. You know, if you're going to share everything that he's going to in this video, why not just let the whole cat out of the bag?
For theft of a motor vehicle and domestic abuse involving strangulation. That's what I was in Orleans Parish for. Okay, but before I was in Orleans Parish, I was in a jail called St. Tammany Detention Center. All right, St. Tammany Jail here in St. Tammany Parish. There's two different parishes, Orleans and St. Tammany. Okay, today what I want to talk about is that I was on second-degree kidnapping, second-degree domestic abuse, battery involving strangulation, domestic abuse, battery, violation of protective order, right? On this woman right here, her name is Diamond White. That's her name. This is a district attorney drop form right here. And she's not a child, she's an adult, a full adult. I was dating this woman. This is a legalized affidavit saying all allegations against me is false.
The premise of what this guy is trying to share about is that he is innocent, saying that these allegations, including that bad charge of is not true. Domestic abuse, strangulation, breaking a protective order, all of that is not true, because what he just showed you, that district attorney drop form with the girl's signature, and she's the one that filled that out. That's a woman's handwriting right there. She went down to drop the charges on this guy. Here's the thing. When the police arrive or somebody goes down to a magistrate to file charges, it doesn't matter if later on down the road the victim decides that they don't want to pursue it anymore and they do what he's showing right there, go and attempt to drop charges. The district attorney can still pursue the case. And ultimately, to end up with these type of charges, you broke a protective order, so that means that there's already been a previous.
By the way, real quick, I actually found somebody who broke down the actual charges that he had. Let me know in the chat if you want to when we get done with Joe. It's about a 20-minute video, and he goes through, again, part of this video. We'll skip that part, but he does break down the actual charges and the description of the night that Antoine was arrested. It's pretty gruesome. So this is what the police saw. This is what the district attorney heard and filed charges on. So if y'all let me know in the chat, yeah, just say, hey, I want to watch it or whatever like that in the chat. And I have it queued up. I'll bring it in. But let's finish this up with Joe.
His track record between you and this woman. Do I think that her? I don't know.
All allegations against me is false. I was nowhere around her or none of that. During the timing of the date, which was November the 10th of 2024. Okay, so I was in St. Tammany, right? And I was on a regular domestic charge, right? So they put a parole hold on me because I was on a domestic charge. So with that being said, is that once that occurred, and the charges was refused or whatever, they shipped me to Orleans Parish where I had no open charges, was the theft of a motor vehicle and the domestic abuse, battery, involving strangulation. So once I got in Orleans Parish Jail, all right, I have from the district attorney's office, this woman who he said that I initially raped in another parish and in Orleans Parish, the same woman here. It's not different females, it's the same grown woman, not a child, a grown woman. Okay, she did the same thing in Orleans Parish, right? Correct. I'm about to show you how the system is corrupted. Okay, she did this, right? Saying all allegations against me is false. And she even saying that, she let her know the truth, that I never did this to her, I never hit her, I was nowhere around her, nothing. She got mad and thought that I was dealing with another woman. That's why she did what she did to me.
I've seen this before, where a woman's going to put charges out on you because she thinks that you're messing with another woman. I hear you what you're saying in relation to that. There could very well be some truth to what this guy shares in relation to that. But here's the thing. I truly feel like, one, let me say this as well. What this guy is trying to do is just really trying to make sure that people know he's not a. He was in St. Tammany Parish on all of those domestic charges, including that bad charge and strangulation. And in Orleans Parish, where he was let out of, he had a theft of a motor vehicle and another domestic abuse strangulation charge, which he says all of these charges, and I don't know if the theft of the motor vehicle also pertains to this woman as well, but he's saying that all of these charges between the two parishes involve the same woman who would end up going down to the district attorney's office and filling out a drop form to drop charges, saying that these things never happened and that she did this because she was mad at him. Now, all we have at this point is his side of the story. We do have the paperwork that he is showing, but all we have is his side of the story. And let me tell you, if you put false charges on somebody, you could end up being arrested for that yourself, for filing a false police report. Also, let us not forget that the woman in question here by the name of Diamond White was arrested. I'm not sure if she's still in custody right this second or not, but she was arrested as an accomplice to helping this guy, Antoine Massey, further continue to be a fugitive. And in fact, it was reported in another story that Diamond White and Antoine Massey's sister were in communication where they both had said that they hope he never gets caught, and that 6 days after the escape, authorities would run down on Antoine Massey's sister's home, but they were just a little too late. They were able to see through phone records that Antoine Massey was there and that he had tampered with evidence, or the sister did, or the ex-girlfriend did. A victim of abuse arrested as an accomplice. One of the women accused of helping Antoine Massey, this is unbelievable to me, and almost seems to illustrate some Stockholm syndrome, it seems like. One of the women accused of helping Massey and described by police as his paramour also suffered from years of physical abuse from him, court records show. The woman who had previously filed a protective order against Massey after he attempted to strangle her was aware of his planned escape and later misled authorities, police said. She exchanged messages with Massey's 31-year-old sister saying they hoped he never gets caught. The fact of the matter is this guy escaped from jail. They're not going to overlook that. And it's not like this is his first escape neither. This is his fourth escape. But again, I really feel like what this guy is hoping to do here is just to clear his name of that bad allegation.
You know what I'm saying? Another thing too, once I got into Orleans Parish, I was there for like a month or something like that. Okay, a lot went on as that time progressed. Okay, if you was an innocent person and you know the judges and DA know that this person is saying that all the charges that you're on that you did not do, why was you still in jail? Louisiana have the highest incarceration rate in the world for putting black people away. Yes, at the end of the day, in my younger life, I'm not gonna lie, I was causing problems. I was young. My daddy got killed when I was 7 years old. My mom had to raise 4 children by herself, so I had to find a way to try to help my mother.
This guy says if the judge and the DA knows that you're innocent in this case, why would you stay in jail? Is how that sounded. But I think he probably was trying to say, why would you still be in jail? But it definitely came across like, why would you stay in jail?
Yeah, he definitely
and if that's how it was meant to sound, well, clearly he didn't stay in jail.
You know what I'm saying? As time went on, the person that I once was, I'm not that person today. That is not who I am. I have a 3-year-old son. I have an 18-year-old daughter that graduated yesterday, supposed to be. At the end of the day, that people don't understand that they see that I'm on the names. I have a heart. People that know me know that at the end of the day, I am a good person. So I'm asking for help from the world, from Meek Mills, Lil Wayne, Young Boy, Donald Trump. I'm asking for these people. I couldn't even get a lawyer. I couldn't even afford a lawyer to prove my innocence while I was in Orleans Parish jail. They said that I broke out. I didn't break out. I was let out. My name is Antoine Massey. The guy who said that I threatened him with a shank, the maintenance guy, how could I threaten you with a shank? If you can't come around me, you're a maintenance. You cannot come on the tills without a deputy being behind you.
That's an interesting point that he brings up right there in relation to Sterling Williams. He's going to go on and continue talking about Sterling using just his first name, which makes it sound like these guys knew each other somewhat. He says he's not the person that he used to be. He's not an armed and dangerous fugitive. He has children. He's a changed man. I don't want to sound negative. But, buddy, you're a fugitive, a fourth offender in relation to escape. I haven't found a good place to throw this in here yet, so I'll just throw it in right now. Kind of neither here nor there. But, you know, take notice of the tattoos on his face that a lot of people said were going to be hard to cover up, hard to conceal. You know, probably would lead to this guy getting apprehended sooner than later. Ironic to note, he's one of the 2 remaining guys on the run. What is Derek Groves thinking about all of this? This guy has slipped under the radar big time. But Antoine Massey actually has what I believe is a king chess piece tattooed between his eyes on his forehead right there, and possibly either 2 castles is what that looks like. I thought it was 2 pawns at first, but it does look like 2 castles. And I also thought that it was 2 shotgun shells at first. But I wonder what that symbolizes. King chess piece tattooed on the forehead, standing over 2 castles underneath each eye. Is he a king that looks over his castle? Or could it be some kind of affiliation?
Because if they just
All right, y'all, chess champs, come on, jump up in the chat. I believe, well, that's a king on his forehead, and he has 2 rooks on each cheek. What do y'all think about it? Yeah, Derek Grove is laughing and running. Derek Grove's like, look, bro, Derek Grove is liking the comment on Instagram, but Derek Grove ain't doing no lives. You have to be acquainted. You can't just leave out of the hole behind a toilet. I mean, right. You have to be acquitted. Please forgive me. Yeah, like, I mean, he making it sound like he was freed. And again, if you say you were let out, like, spill the beans. Who let you out? Deputy this and that. Sheriff one or the other. Like, be honest. Tell the truth. Let's go.
let you on until you could be persuaded to bring drugs or anything like that in that nature. So how can I threaten you to jail you? And why you didn't notify the people, the police, that if I did threaten you, you never did that. Like, you flat out lied on me. Sterling flat out lied on me. And I want to let the media know that from the straight tattoos in my face and things of that nature, of course they're going to believe Sterling.
I'm going to have to object to that. Because of the tattoos on your face, people are going to believe Sterling over you. Sterling was a civilian, a jail maintenance worker. You are a 4-time escapee, and I hate to sound so callous in this because I know that this video is going to humanize this guy, and I'm not trying to take away from that at all. I need to tell you, since this video dropped yesterday, there's been hundreds of people who have tagged me in this. And then there's also been people who have been coming into the comments of these videos kind of going in on me because they are feeling compassion for this guy. This guy is a human being. He does deserve a fair shake no matter what it is, even with that bad allegation on him. I'm sure that there's quite a bit more to the story in terms of what led to him being incarcerated with those charges that he has. But the fact of the matter is, buddy, you escaped. I don't believe that you were going to have, I don't think for this guy, and I'm going to say this, to his defense, if these allegations were bogus, I think he was damned if he did and damned if he didn't. Even if the allegations were bogus, he was going to go into the courtroom and get smoked regardless. Said he couldn't afford a paid lawyer, so he was going to have a court-appointed lawyer who was probably going to do nothing for him. So why not risk the escape? What do you have to lose at that point? And by doing this video that he's doing, at least he gets the opportunity to speak to the world because this thing has gone unbelievably viral and share your piece. But also, I kind of feel like at the same time he's trying to humanize himself, he's kind of throwing everybody under the bus a little bit. Sterling and the ex-girlfriend. And if she was one of those scorned type of women who gets jealous because of him potentially dealing with another woman, and I hate to say that about her if that's not true. Gosh almighty, imagine how mad she'd be when they find out what woman's house he's potentially up in right now. Because when I think about where he's probably being harbored at, it probably is by some form of a love interest.
You know what I'm saying? I never told Sterling nothing. I'm willing to take a lie detector test and everything behind that. But that's another subject. Orleans Parish is one of the corruptest jails. That in St. Tammany Parish is the corruptest jails in the state of Louisiana.
I believe that.
Why was I even incarcerated with a woman saying that this never happened? This is this woman's name. This is the charge, domestic abuse discrimination. This is...
You know, I got to go back to that real quick because he keeps saying that that's a drop form to drop the charges. But when I look at it, run that one more time.
Corrupted jails in the state of Louisiana. Why was I even incarcerated with a woman saying that this never happened?
That is a contact request form, request to speak with something, assistant district attorney, a contact request form, request to speak. Okay, so yeah, that's what that is. That's a request form to speak with something, assistant district attorney. So it looks like the woman went and filled out that information, that paperwork, and possibly was able to speak with that guy, Jason Williams, the district attorney for New Orleans, and say, hey, look, I want to drop charges if that's what all of this is.
Happened. This is this woman's name. This is the...
request to speak with assigned assistant district attorney is what that is right there.
Charlotte, domestic abuse discrimination. This is about the shit in St. Tammany. Why would I, in Orleans Parish, why was I even in jail? That's what I'm trying to show y'all. That's why I left the jail. And they have a lot more brothers that's innocent, just like me.
He left the jail because he was innocent. Okay, now regardless if that's true or not, buddy, that escape charge, it's going to stick. They're not going to have sympathy for you for this situation. In fact, the only person that could help you in your pleas for Meek Mill's, Lil Wayne, Young Boy, is President Donald Trump. Do you think that the president has seen this video yet? I mean, this video is gaining worldwide notoriety as we speak. Do you think somebody has brought this to the president, like, Mr. President, take a look at this? Lil Wayne, Meek Mills, the money that they could put toward a lawyer, I mean, who knows? Maybe with the most high-paid lawyer, Buddy would stand some sort of a chance. But I don't think he stands a snowball's chance in hell, to be honest, even with that. And he is delusional if he thinks that he does.
That's trying to prove their innocence. That's why they ran.
Oh, that was the other part that I needed to grab right there. He said that there's plenty of brothers in that jail who are innocent, and he said that's why they ran. Do you think that there's truth to that? Of those 10 who escaped, how many of them do you think actually are innocent? You know, maybe in this guy's case, what he's sharing is true. This girl put these bogus charges on him, and I'm just saying that as a plausible situation, a possible thing. I can't confirm nor deny. Nobody can. The only person who could would be the woman Diamond White. She's the only one. We got to hear her side of the story before anybody could say one way or another what's really up in this story. Corey Boyd, accused of running a guy over in a car who tried to intervene when him and his posse were breaking into vehicles. Derek Groves, the other escapee still on the run right now, accused of a double murder. But he's saying that these guys were innocent.
Jason Williams,
the prosecutor,
sheriff,
Susan Hudson.
These people are corrupted. These people was talking to St. Tammany and telling St. Tammany they going to sentence me behind this, and telling St. Tammany if they can't get me, St. Tammany going to get me. You see what I'm saying? Behind a woman that's a grown adult that never stated that I ever. They have a detective that's over the
What
case.
does it matter? They're a grown adult.
Trying to pursue charges on me because of my prior history. Who I was in the past is not who I am today. So I'm asking for the media. I don't even have a lawyer to help me. I'm asking for help. That's why I ran. You feel me? I'm a grown.
I'm sorry. I'm just having a hard time buying in. I'm just calling it for what it is. And for those who are buying into this, hey, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Are you buying what he's selling here? Will there be some sort of a crowdfunding endeavor to try to raise money to help this guy? How wild would that be? Everybody deserves to have their voice heard, their side of the story heard. I went into this yesterday when I first saw this video. I wanted to hear what he had to say. Maybe there was something that we were missing. Unfortunately, what he's sharing, it's just not, it is a tough situation. If you were locked up for something that you didn't do, and because of your prior history, they were going to smoke you in the courtroom, you need to keep in mind this guy broke a protective order. So whatever was taking place between him and this woman, Diamond White, obviously was plenty of toxic shit. Was it mutual or was it one-sided? Until anybody hears from her, all we have is his side of the story.
Man, I have kids. I have a mother. I have a baby mother, a child, my children mother. Like it's a lot going on, and that's why I ran. I need help. You feel what I'm saying? Orleans Parish and St. Tammany is one of the corruptest parishes in the world, and I'm asking for help. There's a lot of corruption, killings, all type of stuff going on, and they covering it up. They don't care about nothing. In the state of Louisiana, this is something that needs to go under a federal investigation.
For sure.
What's going on? How they handling cases? Why Antoine Massey was in jail if the woman, the victim, the grown woman, not a child, the grown woman stated that he never raped her, he never beat her, he was nowhere in her presence. This is the affidavits on the date right here.
Why does it matter?
From the district attorney.
If he's saying that he was nowhere in the presence of this woman when these allegations were filed and turned into charges, then how the hell did the charges come to be in the first place?
Office, this woman did this. I didn't do this. Look at it's legally done. So I'm asking, please, for help. Young Boy, Meek Mills, people, LBL. You know what I'm saying? People that been through the system that know it's corrupt.
Wait, I just thought of something. Where did he get those papers from? Where did he get those papers from? Because they look like they've been around the block a time or two. Where did those papers come from? They keep showing. Where did those pages come from? And I'm wondering, is that going to add itself to the complexity that maybe whoever whose home he's in has been holding his papers for him, or he had access from a family member? I think those papers are going to come into play as well. I mean, we may never know fully, but where did those papers come from? I mean, he had them in his pocket? Like, what happened?
Donald Trump Please, I'm asking for help.
The Trump ain't coming. Don ain't coming out.
When I get back in custody, I'm asking y'all please to come help. You feel what I'm saying? I'm asking the world to let y'all know I'm not a good man. I'm not none of that. None of that. I'm a good person. I am a father that want to be in my children's life. You know what I'm saying? I want to let the younger youth know that going down the route of trying to be a street person is not the route. That's what type of person I am. Yes, I was lied on. They made Sterling lie on me. All the guys they picked me for him to lie on.
Why?
I'm not saying Sterling a bad guy, but why did you pick me to lie on, bro? It's bigger than Sterling. I don't know why they picked me for him to lie on, but I never threatened Sterling ever. How could I threaten Sterling or hurt Sterling? He cannot come on a tip with me without a deputy being present. My name is Antoine Massey. I'm asking for help. I was one of the ones that was let out Orleans Parish Jail on May the 16th or May the 15th, 2025. So please, Meek Mills, Donald Trump, Lil Wayne, please help me. Lil Wayne. This is Big Antoine's son that's talking right now. I'm Lil Antoine. I was in your mama wedding when she married Rabbit. I was the ring boy, Lil Wayne.
He was the ring boy in Lil Wayne's mom's wedding. Yeah, so he's definitely a New Orleans guy through and through. It is a sad situation if all of this is just some made-up shit for what he's locked up for. But with a lengthy criminal record, multiple escapes on his record, this being the fourth, it's hard to know what's real in this situation. And then to say that you were let out of the jail, who let you out? Who let you out? You might start to go down a path of like, okay, well, this sounds like, an unfortunate situation, because even if it is all just made up charges, buddy, you still escaped. They're going to hit you with that escape charge. You're going to do time regardless.
You're going to do that.
Even if it was all of that. Then you start talking about you were let out. You didn't threaten Sterling. Maybe there is some truth to that. But who's to know? He said that Sterling picked him out of all of the guys. I don't know what to make of that. Do you think that any of the people that he is appealing to take notice of this situation and advocate for him?
Please help me, bro.
And that's where the video stops at. I'll be curious to know what all of you think of this situation. If you haven't seen this video, I'm sure that this is wild to see. If you had already seen this video, I appreciate you allowing me to share my piece and my take on what was shared by this guy. I think it is brazen to take to social media to try to plead your case.
That's
by
wild.
doing so. Are you giving the authorities a leg up in the manhunt to get you apprehended again? I'm going to wrap this up right here and hope that you guys found some interest in this video. If you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know your thoughts in relation to everything.
Joe does a great job, man. Really, really like that guy and his content. So shout out to him and what he's doing. I appreciate his insight. Now, I mentioned earlier that there is a content creator that kind of went over the charges that Antoine Massey just kind of danced past. So I think I should have pulled this up before and kind of edited out the infamous video, because we've watched that now twice. And I don't want to watch it a third time. I think he does the same thing, just kind of calls and responses and reacts to it. But I do think it would be beneficial to hear the opening of this video, because I think it's kind of funny the way he addresses it. And then, of course, the charges. So we'll pull it in and I'll stop when we need to after. And I'll drop the link if you want to finish it up on your own or whatever like that. I've looked at Poetic Flacco before. I think he does a great job of giving street dude hood culture analysis. So let's just check it out. One in the green heart in the chat when you can hear.
This is one of the craziest situations I've probably seen on the internet. So y'all remember those 10 Louisiana inmates who escaped from prison and they set the world on fire because everybody is talking about it?
Meantime, in New Orleans, police say they've captured 3 more of the 10 men on Monday after that brazen jailbreak 11 days ago. Leo Tate and Jermaine Donald were arrested 400 miles away in Texas after a high-speed chase. Tate is seen on this surveillance video walking in an alley shortly after the jailbreak. 26-year-old Lenton Van Buren was picked up in Baton Rouge. 5 people have been arrested for helping him.
As much as we have to focus on getting the remaining fugitives back in custody, we also have to be focused on who allowed or helped them to get out.
Orleans Parish District Attorney Jason Williams says this escape could have been prevented after a few other inmates staged an unsuccessful jailbreak 2 weeks prior.
If the sheriff had rang the alarm about the vulnerabilities that existed during that attempted escape, then maybe resources could have been brought to bear from the state.
Security failures that are not just happening at this prison.
These are the 10 inmates that escaped from the very beginning. I feel like 99.9% of people had their money on Derrick Groves being the last one caught. People just look at Derrick Groves and they just see somebody who mean business, and they felt like he would be the last one caught. So far, Derrick Groves have not gotten caught. I, on the other hand, love a good Cinderella story. I love a good comeback. I love an underdog story. So when I looked at the inmates that escaped, my parlay was on Antoine Massey. I know people see the face tattoos and automatically think nincompoop, airhead, Igaboo, gonna get caught the first. I'm a huge fan of March Madness, so I'm old enough to remember rooting for Butler in 2011. They didn't win at all, man. But seeing Butler, the Cinderella story, almost do it really had me shedding tears, bro. So I was shedding tears hoping that Antoine Massey would win. And I'll be real, he was off to a pretty good start because Antoine Massey and Derrick Groves are the last two left. So the Cinderella story essentially is now in the finals. And Derrick Groves is the only one he has to outlast. But it looks like my parlay won't be hitting, bro, because Antoine Massey just made the dumbest mistake I feel like anybody who's on the run can make. He just dropped a 8 to 9 minute video, I guess, pleading his case for why he's quote-unquote innocent while giving up his location.
Massey, I'm one of the ones that was let out of GC.
Off the bat, you could tell he's one of those pseudoscience jailhouse lawyers dudes who read a couple of books and think they understand the code to the legal system and how to trick and beat it. This dude really just said, I was let out of jail. I did not escape jail. Sir, the definition of escaping is willfully not returning back to your confinement. So even if you had a jailhouse employee facilitate your escape, you still escape from prison. But I believe he thinks, hey, yo, they let me out. Hey, bro, this jailhouse, employee opened up the door for me and I just walked out. Even though we seen you guys escape through the back of that cell, bro. When you take an escape route behind a toilet within a cell, that tells everybody what we need to know, bro. You weren't under disbelief that you were free to go. No, you escaped through the back channels because you knew your confinement weren't over with. He has also escaped prison before. I believe in 2019, he reportedly escaped prison. Now, he's about to go on a tirade where he essentially pleads his case and claim he's being framed, the justice system is corrupt.
What I want to talk about today is as far as why I was in Orleans Parish Jail. I was in custody for almost 8 months. All right, 6 months, something like that. I was in there for theft of a motor vehicle and domestic violence strangulation. That's what I was in Orleans Parish for. Okay, but before I was in Orleans Parish, I was in a jail called St. Tammany Detention Center. All right, St. Tammany Jail here, man. St. Tammany Parish. There's two different parishes, Orleans and St. Tammany. Okay. Today, what I want to talk about is that I was on second-degree kidnapping, second-degree rape, domestic abuse, battery, violence strangulation, domestic abuse, battery, violation of protective order. Right on this woman right here, her name is Diamond White. That's her name. This is a district attorney drop form right here. And she's not a child. She's an adult, a full adult. I was dating this woman.
It's crazy how he just read through one of the most horrific string of charges I think I've ever seen or heard. And then he topped that off by claiming she's an adult, bro. This is not a child. This is an adult. As if that matters, right? As if that makes it better. But he's about to go on a tangent on how he's innocent. They framing him. He would claim that this chick actually wrote, an affidavit claiming, hey, I lied on him. He didn't do none of these things. To be honest, the one thing I learned from this particular channel covering Megan Stein and Tory and other charges, bro, these ignorants be lying, right? But not all be lying. Not most be lying. But some do be lying. But the one part of those charges that I have a keen ear to is when he says he violated a protection order. So you already had a protection order, I would imagine, for doing something similar to this woman. And then you violated the protection order. So from my perspective, if you were already on a protection order, why are you violating it? Why are you coming around this woman? Why are you trying to interact with her again? Now, couples are toxic like that. So if she allowed him to come back and they continue dating and then he caught another charge, at that point, I don't know. I can't tell you if he's telling the truth or if he's lying. What I will say, though, man, you don't escape prison and make a video. You escape prison and get gone, my guy. All right? The internet ain't where you got to plead your case to, bro.
This is a legalized affidavit saying all allegations against me is false. All allegations against me is false. I was nowhere around her, or none of that during the timing of the date, which was November the 10th.
Manipulators like this depend on you not doing any type of research whatsoever and just taking his word for it. Now, a woman coming back and trying to get her abuser out of jail isn't rare. Some women do that. Some women love to do. They're so delusional, they're so dumb that they would try to get you out of jail after putting you in there. And even though you're absolutely guilty. So this is not her just coming and saying, yo, he did this to me, and the police picked him up. No. Apparently, when the police found her, she had bruises all over her body. She had a bloodied face, raspy voice. Her eyes were swollen shut and had trouble swallowing. This is not somebody who just made up they were beaten. No, she had visible injuries. Now, apparently, this is the same woman who tried to break him out of jail. Like, she helped him escape prison. So this is just a dummy altogether. But her being a dummy don't take away from her being attacked. Now, apparently this is what happened, okay? In 2024, the woman told officers the couple started arguing at her house in Slidell. When Massey went through her purse and found paperwork from a protection order violation. Now, she already had a protection order out against this dude. So, from a protection order violation report she previously filed against him, according to court documents. When Massey confronted her, he beat her, strangled, and forced her into her car, driving her against her will down dark roads in New Orleans, east and other areas, telling her, I'm about to kill you. According to court documents, when they spotted a police car near the McDonald's on Elysian Fields, the woman told investigators she jumped out the car and tried to flag the officers down, but Massey caught her and dragged her back to the car, where he strangled her until she lost consciousness. Later that same morning, Massey brought the woman to his sister's house, where he became enraged again that she was being too loud. He ripped the braids from her head, leaving blood all over the walls, according to court documents. She eventually escaped hours later and flagged down a passing car. Her own car was recovered abandoned in the 7,000 block of Martin Road. Days later, Massey was found in Texas with a Mercedes that was stolen from a party in New Orleans East, court document says. This is not a man who is completely innocent, bro. While on their run, he stole somebody's vehicle. They went to the sister house and found blood all on the wall. So, no, this is not a situation where a woman just said something, police arrested you, and then she came back and said, oh, no, he didn't do it. Yeah, she's a dummy, right? She is a victim who's a dummy. But, no, you're not innocent, bro. Like, rot in hell, rot in jail.
Of 2024, okay? So I was in Centennial, right? And I was on a regular domestic charge, right? So they put a parole hold on me because I was on a domestic charge. So that being said is that once that occurred, and the charges was refused or whatever, they shipped me to Orleans Parish where I had more open charges. It was the theft of a motor vehicle and the domestic abuse involving strangulation. So once I got in Orleans Parish jail, all right.
You slid by those theft of a motor vehicle charges really fast and really slick. Are you claiming they're lying on you with that as well? Did you not do that as well? Are you an innocent man being framed for those as well? And then when he says he was in another jurisdiction for domestic violence, that tells me it was two different situations, because why would you be in two different jurisdictions for the same crime? So if you were already in jail for another woman or you did this to her in another jurisdiction, come on, bro. Being lied on once by one woman, I can probably hear. I could probably be open to hearing you out, but if it's two different occurrences, bro, cut it out, man. Go do your time, homie.
I have, from the district attorney's office, this woman who they say that I initially raped in another parish and in all these parishes, the same woman here. It's not different females. It's the same grown woman, not a child, a grown woman. Okay, she did the same thing in all these parishes, right? Correct. I'm about to show you how the system is corrupted. Okay, she did this, right? Saying all allegations against me is false, and she even saying it. She let her know the truth that I never did this to her. I never hit her. I was nowhere around her. Nothing. She got mad and thought that I was dealing with another woman. That's why she did what she did to me. You know what I'm saying? Another thing too, once I got into Orleans Parish, I was there for like a month or something like that. Okay, a lot went on as that time progressed. Okay, if you was an innocent person and you know the judges and DA know that this person is saying that all the charges that you're on that you did not do, why was you still in jail?
What you will see with a lot of these dudes, they're probably good people. They probably got a good heart, but they're really bad decision makers.
Fact.
Let's just say these charges are false. You're being framed. I'll hear you out. I'll say, okay, I'm listening, bro. At what point do you justify escaping from prison? Now, guess what? Those charges that you might have beaten because the woman, the chick, is saying you didn't do it. Now, I don't believe he's went to court yet for this. Like he's still fighting this case, I believe, because he said he's been there for about 8 months or so. So this charge that you may have beaten, that you may have gotten off from, you just turned this to a guaranteed slam dunk 5 years in prison for escaping prison. And you know they're going to make an example out of you because you're the one who probably wrote on the wall, too easy. You're the one who was caught at a barbecue, who been taunting the police since you've been out. So you turn a case that you could have probably beaten when you take this to court. You turn this into a situation where you're going to do a guaranteed couple of years. And that's me being modest. Do you not see that your decision-making is a problem? Do you not see that you are at fault for the bad decisions that you are making in life? Now, he's about to go on his pity story about how because he's black, he lost his father when he was 7, he went through hardships, and that's why he ended up a perennial F-up. Here's the thing a lot of these dudes don't quite understand when it comes to, I guess, living in the hood or living in poverty. 99% of people, well, not, okay, I'm counting.
A good number.
90% of people in those environments don't commit crimes. 90% of people who grew up in the hood, who grew up in abject poverty, who had a one-parent household, 90% of those people don't commit crimes. If you look at the crime rate compared to the population, it's about 10% of people who are actively committing crime. So, yeah, I'm empathetic, I'm sympathetic, right? I'll pray for you, my brother, because I feel like outside of the weirdos and the creeps, those charges are some weird charges. So until I probably get some clarification on whether or not you raped that woman, I can offer you my prayers, my brother. But I do believe that almost all criminals are redeemable. But no, the excuse should not be I had a tough life, so I resorted to crime. 90% of people who have tough lives don't commit crimes.
All right, and I'm gonna stop right there because we watched this guy talk, Antoine Massey. We watched him ad nauseum. So I think we got it down. Shout out to Poetic Flacco. I did drop the link in the chat if you want to finish watching his reaction to the Pookie IG live from recent. I don't know if it was a real IG live. I think it was a video, but either way, if you want to check it out, I will. Let me drop in the link in the chat again. Yeah, got it right there for you. Definitely go check it out. And I thought he did a good job giving a summary. And I think when we hear, a civilian, we hear a correction officer, we hear a former resident in the Gray Bar Hotel, when we hear all of them give their reactions to this, it gives us a better understanding of it, and ultimately, hopefully, gives us a better gauge on what's reality, what's false, what's really happened, what didn't really happen, and so on and so forth. Because I think hearing what the police report said, that's a whole different game versus the way he was presenting it. Like, they're just saying that I did this. No, they saw some bona fide issues, blood on walls, swollen faces, couldn't hardly breathe, and those kind of things like that. That's a big deal. That's not just something you just kind of shoo away. So as Felicia said right here, criminals are always full of excuses. They're full of them. And again, like Flacco said, though, hey, most people who are grown up in your situation don't commit crimes. So don't use that as an excuse. They didn't have a dad, abject poverty, single parent. Don't do that. And again, like the correction officer said as well, like this just doesn't make sense to do something like this and think that that's going to be the flex that's going to get you off, because you're guaranteed to get 5 years for nothing else. This escape. That's it. What did you say right here, Apex? The police report tells a horrific story. Right. That's why I wanted to watch that. And I should have pulled it out so it could have made it a little bit easier. But I appreciate y'all watching it. Yeah, like that's a whole different story. I work as a deputy sheriff in Cook County, Illinois. Whoa, we got another one. Y'all, look, hats off to correction officers and deputy sheriffs. Y'all do a lot. Y'all do a lot, man. Shout out to you. Thank you, Felicia, for stopping by. I appreciate it. And there we go, Miss Independent. We're gonna have a correction officer night. That's what we'll do. We'll have a correction and law enforcement night. Have you come on, talk about your experiences, talk about what you think about what's going on here, and who do you think is gonna get caught next? Okay, did this really happen? I don't think the barbecue thing really happened. Did that really happen? The barbecue was old because okay, the picture I saw, he was like jumping in a pool or something like that. He did have a haircut, and I was like, why are y'all saying that this is new? And for some reason, I think he had fewer tattoos. I don't know what. Some reason I felt like the tattoos were not as he had as many. But is that what they're talking about when it's in the barbecue? I think that's wild, man. And people are like, look, y'all done went and dug up some old family reunion photos and videos. Yeah, it did look old. Okay, thank you. I thought it was tripping. I did see that, and I'm like, this can't be what y'all are talking about because it looks old. He looked younger, and he had a haircut, and less. And I feel like there just weren't as many tattoos. But I could have been wrong. But no, okay. So at least other people have said the same thing. So shout out to y'all. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate the pushback on that. But that's why I think it's good to hear different sources, because one person said he was taunting them at the barbecue, and other people clearly didn't. The whole thing with the snitching, the shanking of Sterling Williams and stuff like that. Now we know why Diamond, when they showed the accomplices and they showed everybody's mugshot except Diamond Williams. Now we know why Diamond White. We know why, because she's also a victim. That's why her mugshot wasn't up there. So just those things have popped up. The more we've watched different angles of this. What did you say here, love? If he wasn't there, he would not have been involved in it. Madness. There you go. I know folks with incarcerated dads who are now college grads leading productive lives. There we go. Now his dad is deceased, so I don't know if we want to add that complexity of knowing. I think his dad was unalived around when he was 7 or 8. If we want to add that as a complexity or want to add that as a mitigating circumstance, I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying I believe that's what happened to the young man. I know people with 3 generations in a family in prison together. Yo, now that's crazy. The son, the father, and the grandfather, that's bananas. Goodness gracious, Lord. We need Christ, man. We need him. Lord, we need you. That's sad. But yeah, I do want to say thank you. I really appreciate y'all rocking with us and hanging out. This was again, I just thought this would be a fun opportunity to hear some other reactions related to it. I don't know when they're going to catch anybody else, though. I don't know. I really don't. At the current moment, it looks like they have stalled out on catching anybody, the Groves guy or the Massey guy. And I guess we'll have to see. We'll see how it all shakes out. But let me know what y'all think down below. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Tomorrow is Wednesday. I think I got some good videos planned for tomorrow, but taking President Firstborn some places tomorrow as well. Got to get her ready because we got to get ready to go to school soon. She got her internship. I got to drop her off for that, drop her car off. Got a couple shenanigans like that. But I want to say thank y'all so much. I appreciate all of y'all rocking with me. I really appreciate you all. Let me know what you think about this. And if you don't mind, really, truly, 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 if you could in the comments, let me know if you like these type of, I've been pretty much doing this every night or just about every night, that there's some good information. So if you like that, let me know. Of course, thank Marshall for sending me clips and all that kind of good jazz and articles and newscasts and such like that. But if you really do like this, let me know in the comments below if it's really something you find value in. And hey, we'll just keep doing it. If not, we'll move on to something else. So I appreciate y'all for sure. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much, each and every one of y'all. I'm gonna get ready to bug out of here because Lady Dear Will Christian has come home since I've been in here. So go check out my bride. So thank y'all so much. I will see you all real soon. Until then, grace and peace. Take care.